Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, pushing his word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. To you, I say shalom. This is the brother Yeshaya coming at you again through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Back at you with another lesson. Lord willing, this be edifying through the Racha Kodash. But anyway, this lesson is going to be entitled 6G and the MOTB. Okay, and this is going to be a quick video. Nothing too long. Just going to get straight to the point, right? So as you see on your screen, I got this article from the White House website, and it says "Winning the 6G race." All right. So it says, this is a memorandum or a memo, right, to these different people in these different positions, right? Secretary of State, Secretary of War, Commerce, etc., etc., right? But it says, by the authority vested in me as president, by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, I hereby direct the next generation of mobile communications networks, 6G, will be foundational to the national security, foreign policy, and economic prosperity of the United States. This technology will play a pivotal role in the development and adoption of emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, robotics, and implantable technologies. You see, because as you see, who have you had in the White House with Donald Trump in the beginning of his, you know, term this year? You had Elon Musk, right? And we know Elon Musk is, working on that, what they call it, Neuralink, right? But not even just him. You had various, people that's involved in the technological, in the, I guess, in artificial intelligence and different technologies, right? Like Palantir, I'm not sure about Gideon, but either ways, those are all technologies that's going to be used as the infrastructure for this beast system, this new world order that they're trying to implement. And one of the major things that they're going to have is this micro C-hip, right, or RFID C-hip implanted under your skin, whether it be your head, like I mentioned, Neuralink, right, but you also have other companies like Synchron, right, which just came out with some news earlier this year about how they have a BCI that can interface with different Apple devices, right? But you know, we understand this is where things is headed. This is all part of prophecy. You know, the MOTB, the mark of the beast, the micro C hip. These are things that pretty much is going to lead us up to the end of this man's system, right? These are things to look out for. And anyone who's saying otherwise, who's saying that the MOTB is not the micro C hip, you know, and saying that it's something else contrary to that, then ultimately these people are leading other people astray. I'm talking about the teachers, these false prophets, they're out here leading, Israel in the wrong direction. Ultimately, these people, either sold out or they're sincerely wrong, all right? But the point being is that this MOTB, this micro C hip will be used, you know, will be used as a form of payment, and as a form of being able to be, uh, um, being able to move around and be, uh, uh, being able to integrate yourself in this new system, in this new society that Esau is trying to develop. All right. And without it, you're going to be exiled. You're going to be, as they say, off the grid, right? You ain't going to be able to go out, and go to Walmart and go to work and get a paycheck or sell stuff online. Or people that have their own businesses, you ain't going to be able to do any type of commerce, right? So, this is the direction where America is headed. This is the direction that the whole world is headed, right? The 6G is going to be used to forward this technology. right? Like it says, this technology will play a pivotal role in the development and adoption of emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, right? Because they need that to work more faster, right? Because this is artificial intelligence is going to be used to track and trace everybody, right? They can't have people, behind a computer screen 24/7. It's too many people on the earth to be able to track everybody. So they're going to need technologies like the artificial intelligence, and paired up with 6G to make things quick, boom, fast, right? But it says robotics, right? You're gonna have artificial intelligence inside robots, you know, but everything is gonna be more quicker, right? Even with implantable devices under your skin, everything's gonna be more quicker, more faster, right? When it comes to payments, payments is gonna be quick. You ain't gonna there ain't gonna be no need to wait 5 or 10 seconds, at the register, waiting to pay. No, things you just boom, tap, pay, boom. You know, this is the direction that Esau is pushing the people, right? To pretty much uh 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 be I guess you could say, to pretty much be persuaded, that this is a good thing because of how convenient and the rate of speed, and what I'm saying, all everything that they point out to be beneficial and be more better. People are going to eat that shit up, man. Especially these tech heads, that are sold into uh, uh, the advancements of tech, and the newest and latest thing, right? People are going to be eating this shit up, right? And we see the what do they call it, the not desensitization, but what do they call it? Pretty much what Esau's doing is he's putting things out there, like that new TV show, the UBI or UB, can't even remember what it's called, but Universal Basic Guide, Universal Basic something. I can't remember. It's like a cartoonish type of show, but it's like a show that gets people uh, 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 used to the idea of receiving checks, universal basic income, and going out and just living your life, right? But the caveat, in real life, what's going to happen is that you're going to have to take this MOTB to receive of that universal basic income, right? You're going to have this implantable device, and this is what they're setting up. This 6G is gonna be put in place to set up that system, right? But anyway, let me read more. It says 6G will provide faster, more resilient, and more secure communication networks that can be utilized for national security and public safety purposes. Right. You see, for faster national security and public safety purposes. That's what they always do, right? They try to convince you this is for your safety, this is for, you know, security, any public concern, this is going to help all that, right? But as we know, that's what Esau does. He sensationalizes stuff, and then he plays on the minds of the people to get people to back this up by putting fear in people's hearts, or by making people feel that this technology is needed, right, for the progression of humanity, for the advancement of humanity, right? But anyway, let's go ahead and get some precepts. Like I said, this is what they're um, trying to bring forward, man. The MOTB, the B system, right? But anyway, um, let's go ahead and go to Revelation 13 and verse 16. It says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." You see, what's that mark? Let's get that word for mark real quick. Word here for mark is charagma, right? Charagma. And it says a stamp and imprinted mark. It says of the mark stamped on the foreheads or the right hand as a badge of the followers of the Antichrist, the mark branded upon horses, right? Because this is where it is. This is ultimately what it is, to show that you are property of someone. And who's that someone? The bankers, the top elite, right? So you're gonna be marked as cattle. You're gonna be, you know, or those who willingly submit to this. All this is a digital all, right? As spoken about, I believe, in the book of uh, I can't remember where it's at. I think it might be in Exodus. Let me get it real quick. Yeah, Exodus 21 and verse 6. Hold on, let me see. Uh, I'll start at 5. It says, Exodus 21 and 5, and if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door, or unto the door post, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. You see? And that's ultimately what this micro C-hip is, right? This RFID C-hip, this is what this is. You know, it's all it is a digital all. I'm just trying to see what this says. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. But pretty much what it, you know, it goes under your skin. You know, it's implanted under your skin. But let's read more on this. Revelation 13 and verse 17. Actually, I'm gonna read 16 again. It says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hands, in their right hand, or in their foreheads. Right? Well, we have Synchron, at least the ones that I know that come to the top of my head. I know there's a couple more, but the ones that are most popular that come on top of my head is Synchron and Neuralink, right? You also have the ones that on the microchips that's going to be put in your hands, right, to scan and pay and stuff like that, right? Um, verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. You see? So you ain't gonna be able to buy, sell, you ain't gonna be able to operate within society, you know, you ain't gonna be able to have a job, you ain't gonna be able to buy stuff from groceries, right? What does that mean? That means that people are gonna be dependent upon this thing for their survivability. In order for you to continue to operate in society and continue to live your life, you're gonna have to take this thing. And that's gonna be part of the temptation, right? When you go into what was it? Revelation 3 and 10. Let's get that. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, and slacking, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. You see? Let me read this in the NLT. It says, because you have obeyed my command to persevere, I will protect you from the great time of testing that will come upon all the world, or will come upon the whole world, to test those who belong to this world. You see? And ultimately, if you take that implantable device, that means that you belong to this world. And those that belong to this world are going to receive the judgment that this world is going to receive, which is ultimately going to be that thermonuclear fire, right? The second death that the Bible speaks of, right? But if you don't take it, you know, then, well, at the end of the day, it all depends who the Most High deems or has sanctified to be the elect or preordained to be part of the elect. You know, because there are going to be some people that ain't going to take it, that are going to be still destroyed, right? You're going to have some Edomites that ain't going to take it. They're going to stand up against this thing, right? It's all about the elect at the end of the day, right? Um, let me read. Let me see. Let me read this back. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, right? Because that's what's going to happen. Your faith is going to be tested, man. Those of us that believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and that believe that this MOTB is the micro C hip, that's going to be a great testing on us to see if we fold, right? But we understand that the elect ain't going to fold, you see? Which is why we got to constantly pray and like it says, persevere through all the hell that we're about to face. And even in our temptation, whenever we get put to the test, we got to be able to endure everything that befalls us. You see? Now, I want to get this as well in Second Ezra, because this right here just shows you that we are living in the last days. The fact that they came, I mean, the fact that they've been working on this, shows us that this is the MOTB. This is what they're going to be used. This is what's going to be used to forward the beast system and enslave all of humanity, right? Um, but just showing you that we're living in the last days. We see the signs. The signs are out there, right? But this is Second Ezra 9:1. He measured me then and said, but he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Right, and that's what we do as prophets. What do? We're watchers. So we're watching the what's going on around the world, right? Current events. You know, we're constantly watching for prophecy. You know, that's where our eyes are on. Our eyes are on prophecy. So we're measuring the days, we're measuring the time, and knowing where we at in Esau's kingdom, and we see that we're at the end. We're at the end of this thing, man. We ain't got much longer, right? Which is why we implore our people, to you know to call upon the Lord while He may be found, right? Scriptures talk about put the Lord not off from day to day, right? Meaning this thing is time sensitive. If you don't get this by the time that this rolls out, you're through, man. A lot of people are not gonna know what's going on. Not gonna know what's going on. Why? Because they neglected the words of the Lord. They neglected the message that the prophets were coming out with. So those that neglected this message and didn't prepare themselves, they're gonna be, man. They're gonna be pretty much stuck. They're gonna be in a state of despair and I guess you could say a fear of the unknown. I have this fear of the unknown to where they're just gonna fold whenever they get put to the test, because people are gonna be looking for answers. People are gonna be looking for pretty much to soften the the hell that they're gonna be going through. Because best believe during this time you're gonna be having Jacob's trouble, right? You're gonna be having great famines. You're gonna be having uh, 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 you know plagues. That's that new plagues that's pretty much way more deadlier than that whole C-19 thing, man. You have things like what they call the Marburg. You have what they call it Ebola. You know, and even new shit that Esau's cooking up in these fucking labs, man. You see? So we're living in these end times, man. And like I said, if you ain't got the word by now, hey, you better pray and hope that the Lord gives it to you soon. Gives you that, opens up your mind to understand, because once this thing rolls out and our temptation is here, it's gonna be too late for you, man. Really, once the prophets get taken off the street, because that's gonna have to happen before the MOTB gets mandated, right? What they call it, different opinions, different opposition of information. All that's gonna have to have all that's gonna have to be shut down, right? Because that's what Esau has a problem with right now. A problem on information, on pretty much the control of information, right? This truth is a major threat unto this man's system, because why is waking up a lot of minds, mainly the elect. So whenever he takes this thing off the ground, he's going to have a lot of resistance. So he's going to have to combat, what do you call it, dissension, or voices that pretty much oppose his MOTB, right? Um, let me see. Let's get from here Matthew 24, and I'm gonna close it off with this. Like I said, I didn't want to make this too long. I'm already up at 20 minutes. This is Matthew 24. Uh, I'll just read it from here, verse 3. And, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us when shall be these things, when, Slakia, tell us when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Right, so that's what we see right now: wars and rumors of wars. Right, you have strikes going on over there in Nigeria. Right, Donald Trump supposedly hitting ISIS. You have Iran um, declaring war on Israel, and I believe it's Iran, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's Iran declaring war on uh, Israel, right? You have uh, the whole Russia-Ukraine conflict. I mean, it's a lot of things, man. There's a lot of wars going on right now. The thing with Venezuela and the United States, right? So the wars and that whole wars, rumors of wars is alive and active, man. So it says, verse 7, For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom is against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Right? We see that all the time. You know, the talk of famine. You know, these farmers are, are complaining of the crops, right? Having to destroy their crops because of the government telling them they can't use certain things, or different companies is buying out their lands, right? The topsoil, you know, is losing its fertility, right? But it says, verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows, man. Right? All these things this is just the beginning. What you see going on around you, all the hell and chaos that you see, you know, you might think like, damn, this shit can't get worse. This is as bad as it's gonna get. No, it's gonna get a lot worse. A lot worse, man. It's gonna be some movie type shit, man. Some apocalyptic movie type shit. And even worse than that, none of these movies that we see, you know, that's out right now, you know, it's, you can't compare it to what's really gonna happen, right? But let me scroll down. I wanted to get this last one. Um, where's it at? I think it's 20. Yeah, 22. It says, and except those days shall be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved, right? And we see these days, the Most High is making the days shorter, man, right? Whether it's from brothers feeling it, you know, brothers be feeling the days, you know, just moving. Here it is. We're already almost in 2026, man. It felt like just a couple weeks ago that they just talked about, you know, the what's it called, the whole government shutdown thing, and Donald Trump, you know, getting rid of these people from the DEI, and or with the whole Doge thing, right? This is like, things is moving quick, man. But that's the Lord speeding up the times, man, making things happen a lot more and more faster, a lot more and more quicker, man. And 2026 is going to be no different. Things is going to be moving more and more rapid. Where, like they say in the world, like they say, you know, there's years where um, where weeks happen or something like that, and then there's weeks where months happen, something like that, something along those lines, right? But we're pretty much just saying how things is just how these couple years that we've been living, things has been picking up speed, man. It seems like every month is like a new advancement in technology, a new advancement in artificial intelligence, a new advancement in the micro C-hip, field, right? Now we know that they have artificial intelligence, which is helping them speed things up, right? But ultimately, this is all the Lord, moving things at a faster rate. You see? Let me read this back. Matthew 24 and 22. It says, "And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." Right? And that's what we want. We want the hastening of the day of the Lord. We want the Most High to send His Son Yahweh to come and deliver us out of here. Right? Even though we understand the hell and the calamities that's about to befall the earth, but we pray that we're preserved throughout all that hell and chaos, man. We have faith and we believe that the Most High is going to preserve His men, right? And we pray and we hope that we are those elect men, right? But anyway, I pray the lesson was edifying. I'm going to go ahead and close it out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. Peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, pushing His word throughout the four corners of the earth in truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Until the next time, I'm going to say Shalom, Kwam Yashala.